Hey, a Folk Studio here. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm wearing red to celebrate the occasion. I was actually going to cut myself the entire video, but I decided not to do it, just because of positioning of the camera. It kind of doesn't, you just see my thumbs, really. Anyhow, today I'm going to talk about solo queue, and why you should not be scared of hitting that solo queue button. People seem to be scared of the button. It can be a pretty scary button for one reason. There's a number, and that number is how good you are at League of Legends. Or at least that's what people think. If you have 1200 Elo, then you're not good. If you've got 2000, then you're good. Now, the thing with solo queue is it doesn't actually mean a whole lot. A lot of things can go terribly, terribly wrong. Like, let's say you do your 10 placement matches, and you end up at like 800 Elo because of how the placement works. But then you get better at the game. All of a sudden, you're going to be way down there, and even though you're improving, the effects may not be obvious. What really matters in solo queue is actually playing the game and then getting as much information as you can out of the games, win or lose. You can be 1400 Elo, and if you don't learn anything from the games you play, you'll stay at 1400. You might get carried to 1500, you might slip down to 1300, but you're going to stick where you are pretty much. And it doesn't matter what Elo you're at, you just got to keep getting what you can in terms of information. Some games are going to be unwinnable. You're going to have a lever, they're going to have a smurf, all of a sudden you're going to be against one of the best Korean players in the country, well, in Korea, and you have some guy who was AFK going mid-Yi. So, being scared of the button is not going to help you get better. Normal draft has issues, especially because the queue times take so long, and there's actually an Elo cap in normals, so you'll never really have a consistent improving pace. And in blind pick, well, blind pick just does not have. Draft is huge. Draft is just too important. It's important to know what you're going up against when you do picks. So, aside from just, not being scared of the games themselves and realizing that Elo doesn't matter, it kinda does. But not in a very obvious way. If you play 20 games, you might be at an Elo that maybe represents you. If you play 500 games, all of a sudden, you're going to start seeing that the games will be matching your skill level more and more and more. Now, there is a problem. The 800 to like 1400, maybe even 1600 region is really chaotic because you have people who had just finished their placement matches. You have people who are coming in from, the placement matches from last season. They're coming back. People who have AFK'd and let their Elo decay too much are going to be in that area. So, it's chaotic. But you can still learn from these games. You can still get information. Now, you might have to play some pub stompy champions if you want to go up in Elo, but going up in Elo should not be your main priority. Like, for example, my main priority shouldn't be to make this video. It should be to make this video without doing this, because it is a bad habit. And even though I've reduced it since the first video, I still need to keep improving at it. It doesn't really matter if I make the video. Well, it kind of does. But it matters that I make the video better, and I keep getting better and better. So this applies to solo queue. Get better. Don't get a higher Elo, get better. Getting a higher Elo does not mean you're getting better. Getting a lower Elo does not mean you're getting worse. I've actually seen some weird situations where it's kind of the opposite, and people will actually get too cocky because of their high Elo, and then end up slipping back down. So this has just been a short rant on being confident. Don't be scared. Things can go terribly wrong, but it's okay. It happens. It happens to everybody. I've seen, GG, Charlester, Dan, they'll lose because they have a lever, they'll lose because they have an AFK, they'll lose because they'll disconnect, but it happens. And you know what they do? They keep playing. They don't stop. They play a lot of games. Now, if you want to get good for tournaments, that's something else. You'll have to play a lot of rank 5s and a lot of tournaments and a lot of scrims, but those aren't scary. Nobody really cares about ranked Elo or 5s Elo because no one cares. And those scrims and tournaments, well, they don't have a permanent effect on you. There is no Elo mark. So anyhow, this is Studio. I hope you have the confidence, if you did not have the confidence to get a date tonight, to go ahead and solo queue and play some games. Get better. Try and improve. Now, one last thing actually is, the reason solo queue is actually a good way to improve is just because people try harder. Now, it might be kind of weird to say that, but when that number is on the line, people will put more effort in. And when people put more effort in, you will learn more, you will get more out of the game than going Teemo top with heal revive and building nothing but armor. Okay, this is Studio. Hope you enjoyed this short. Tomorrow we will probably be looking at a 1400 elo game and breaking that down. So, see you then.